everyone, welcome to Keto Living. So today we are going to be making a recipe that I created myself. It is stuffed pork loin chops wrapped in bacon. Yes, had fun testing this recipe. Love my pork, love my bacon. It is really good. So I'm going to be using some cheeses to stuff my little pork loins with, and just some seasoning and stuff, and of course good old bacon. So let me put you down here and we'll get started. What we're going to be using today is, and I still have these on tray, are some pork loin boneless chops that are thinly sliced. And of course we're going to be using some bacon. And we're going to be using the morel, mushroom, and leek Monterey Jack cheese and a little bit of cream cheese. Of course, salt and pepper. And I'm going to be using some of my doTERRA oil, and I'm going to be using some thyme. So those are the things that we're going to use. So let me get this cleared up and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our little pork cutlets. Now these are already pretty thin sliced, but I want to make sure that I have enough surface. So I'm just going to put them between two sheets of wax paper. And I'm just going to flatten them all the way out because I really want them to be thin. Now you never want to flatten meat or anything like this, just bare meat. You always want to make sure you have something to protect it because you'll tear the meat up if you don't, especially if you get it really thin. So that's that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and flatten all these out, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have all mine thinly sliced, and let me show you what we're going to do. First of all, I'm just going to take some cream cheese. And we're not going to use all this cream cheese. And I'm just going to make some thin little slices. And I'm going to tear it in half and put a half a piece on every one of them. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, important part, salt and pepper. We're going to want to salt these, as with any meat. And I also forgot to mention that we're doing this at room temperature. Make sure that your meat comes to room temp, because anytime you cook meat ice cold, you're going to shock it. And what it does, it tightens up all the tendons and stuff in it, and it gets really tough. Okay? And then I'm going to take, oh, that smells so good, a drop of oil. On each one of these. Okay? Now I'm going to put the cream cheese in the middle. And I'm just cutting little tiny slices. But one thing I've learned about cream cheese is it doesn't run all over the place. Okay? Wipe my hands off. And then I'm going to take our morel and leek Monterey Jack. And this is really good quality cheese. It's all natural. And it's real creamy. And I could have done a little bit thicker slice than that so I could get it off my knife. And then I'm just going to put that down on the little pork chop. I've let my cheese get a little bit soft, but that's okay. So I'm just putting a slice on the pork chops, like a half a slice. If it's really tiny, I'm going to go back and add just a little to some of them. Okay. That was real yummy cheese. And this is also nice just to serve as cheese by itself. Now, the fun part. Move that rolling pin out of the way. The bacon. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to get several slices out because I don't want my hands to contaminate the whole package here. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now we can put this to the side. I just didn't want to put my hand all over it. And I do have it on parchment paper here. So all we're going to do is take our little pork chops and roll them up. Then we're going to take a piece of bacon and roll it around the pork chop. And I thought I was going to use toothpicks, but I don't think I'm going to need to. Then we're going to take a baking tray with a rack on it. And we're going to put these on here, and I'll show you that in a minute because I don't have a whole lot of room over here for that now. So here we go. We're just going to wrap, take a piece of our bacon. And this is staying on pretty good, so I don't really think I need to toothpick it, which is good because I really don't like to do that. Okay. Now, you do want to make sure that you wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after you finish this because, as with any meat, we don't want to contaminate our food. I know this just seems like a simple recipe, and it is simple, but I'm going to tell you what, it packs so much flavor. You wouldn't believe how much wallop that little bit of cheese gets it in there. The morel and leek cheese is really good. It has a good flavor to it. Combined with the cream cheese. Now, I'll be serving these with mashed cauliflower. Because, you know, you can't have pork without some mashed potatoes or fake out mashed potatoes. I love my cauliflower mash. And I'm going to be honest with you, I love those better than I think real mashed potatoes. It's just, that's how much it's grown on me. You know, I'm going to wash my hands really, really quick here with some soap and water and dry them off. I am going to add another little piece of cheese to that because I don't know what I was thinking. That is not enough cheese. Let me take it over here off this paper now. I want to make sure I can taste it. There we go. That is so good. And then we're just going to wrap this up. Okay. Now let me show you what I do, how I bake it. Well, first let me wash my hands again. My hands stay washing when I'm doing this recipe because I don't want to touch pork everywhere. Okay, so I have this pan right here, and I don't really have a baking rack per se, so I took the little rubber tips off of my cookie tray, and all I'm going to do, which I don't think they're going to stick anyway, but I am going to give this a quick spray, a cooking spray, and this is just olive oil cooking spray, and then I'm going to lay these down on the rack. Now, the reason you want to cook it on a rack like this is so that the air and the heat can circulate all over and you don't get soggy bacon. Soggy bacon is not good, okay? And then all the pan catches the drippings and stuff, and you don't really have that big of a mess to clean up. I just throw this pan in the dishwasher. So we're going to put this in the oven at 375 degrees for between 25 and 30 minutes, just until the bacon gets crisp. These pork chops are very thin, and you don't want to overcook them. So when they get done, I'll pull them out and plate everything and show you what it looks like. Hi guys, so the pork chops are almost done, and I'm getting ready to pull them out of the oven. But I finished my mashed cauliflowers, I would say potatoes. So all I'm going to do is add about a tablespoon or so of butter in here. and give that a good stir. And then for some continuity, I'm going to add some of the cheese that I put into the pork chops. The morel mushroom and leek Monterey Jack cheese. Y'all just can't believe how good this cheese is. This cheese came from Publix, and it melts really good. So we're just going to put that in there. Put a couple of slices in there. Give it some good flavor. And of course the cauliflower is nice and hot, so it's going to melt it. Maybe one more slice. And then a little salt. Not too much because the cheese does have salt in it. And a little pepper. Okay, and then we're just going to mix this up. Let the cheese sit there for a moment. And get nice and soft. Okay, that is looking yummy. So the pork chops are ready. I'm going to go pull those out of the oven, and I'll be right back. Oh my gosh. Don't these look amazing? Now they are smaller, and because they're thin chops, and so a portion would be about 3 a piece. So if you have a bigger family, you might want to get more chops, but for me it's perfect. I have one for dinner tonight and some left over for lunch tomorrow. So I'm just going to plate this up right now. Just going to take a couple of those. And some of these with the cheese in them. Oh my gosh, they're so good. My mouth's watering. And let me give that a little taste here. I'm going to cut into one of these. Oh man, see the cheese popping out the side. Got a bite of that cheese in there. And put some mashed potatoes on there. Cauliflower, excuse me. I swear that it always makes me think of mashed potatoes. Let me lift this up for you. And we'll give this a bite. Oh my gosh, now my mouth's watering. Mmm. Mmm. Sorry, I took too big of a bite. My mouth is doing a happy dance. And the cheese and those potatoes, oh my gosh, it just made it. So, I hope you'll give this recipe a try. And if you think you might like it, give it a thumbs up and give me a thumbs up. Now, also, if you don't have the essential oil thyme, I'll link my URL below in the description box, and you can go to my website from doTERRA and order some. It's very reasonably priced, and it's just so yummy on foods and stuff. There's a whole collection of food oils there: basil, thyme, lemon, peppermint, clove. There's pepper. There's just a whole array of food oils there, and I cook with a lot of them. Alright guys, thank you for joining me this week for Keto Living, and stay tuned to next week. I am going to be doing some Wisconsin beer cheese soup. Alright, talk to you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!